welcome back to another episode of the Recession Resistant Real Estate Radio. I'm your host, Brandon Cobb, co-founder of HBG Capital. And today I want to talk to you about the Dream 100 strategy, specifically what it is and how you can use it to leverage other people's audience to either grow your business, raise more money, get more customers. It works in just about any kind of marketing environment. And what I love most about this strategy is it works no matter what time frame of history you're in. If you've been in marketing for a long time, you understand that the different technologies like Google Ads and Facebook and social media advertising, they come and go, right? There's a reason why people are no longer advertising on newspapers, but this strategy works in every single economy, and it works no matter when you started your business. In other words, this same strategy is just as effective today as it was 100 years ago. And I want to talk to you about the different ways that you can go about building and using this Dream 100 strategy. But before we jump in, if you get value from these podcast episodes, please leave us a review and share these with your friends and family. And if you've been interested in learning more about receiving passive income from recession-resistant real estate, head on over to our website, hbgcapital.net. Get on our calendar, schedule an intro call with us. We look forward to getting to know you. Okay, so what is the Dream 100 strategy and how can it benefit you? What I love about the Dream 100 strategy is you're basically leveraging other people's stages, other people's platforms. This could be at a conference where you're speaking on stage, or it could be on a podcast, going on somebody else's podcast. It could be going on a TV show. The different media channels have changed pretty drastically. No longer do you have newspapers. You have online blogs. No longer do you have radio. You still kind of have radio, but radio has basically become podcasting now. No longer do you have television stations. You do, but they're pretty much dying. You have YouTube, right? And then you've got these social media platforms as well. So all of the eyeballs have pivoted from these old media channels to the new media channels. And the most successful business owners are able to leverage other people's audiences. This is why when there's a new movie coming out, The Rock or Kevin Hart, what they do is they go and they promote that movie. They go on late night shows. They go on talk shows. They figure out who's got the audiences that they need in order to promote their shows. Every great entrepreneur, business owner does this. Doesn't matter if you're trying to get customers, if you're trying to promote something, you're trying to raise money for something. It works in every single economic environment. So the way to start the Dream 100 strategy is you first need to identify your Dream 100. Your Dream 100 are basically 100 people that have your target audience. So there's a lot of research that goes into this, and I would start on social media, seeing what content people are putting out, seeing who is resonating with that type of content will give you an idea of who their audience is. And once you've identified that somebody is part of your Dream 100, now you want to start the process of trying to get on their platform. And this is where it can be tricky. And I think the biggest mistake that people make is they go after like the heavy hitters. They think that they need to go after the people with a huge following on Instagram or a huge following on YouTube. The guys who are hard to get to. They're like, man, if I could just get on Grant Cardone's show, oh my gosh, I would be set. And it's really hard to get to these people. You can have a ton of success with the smaller fish. A bunch of smaller fish add up to the larger fish, quite frankly. And there are people who can get on these bigger shows. It just takes a lot more effort. You have to be a lot more creative with it. And it can take a lot more time. But having a bunch of small ends adds up to some giant wins. So you can still pull this off by going on some smaller shows, but make sure that these shows you can identify with the audience, right? They're going to resonate with you. So the best step is to first start out on social media, identify your Dream 100. After you've identified your Dream 100, you want to start making yourself very familiar with what they're posting about, what their needs and wants are. Every single day, comment and like their content, because I guarantee you that they are reading comments and they are liking and they're seeing who their likes are. They're looking at this information. The goal is to become familiar with them and be somebody that they've seen before, so that when you finally message them, which is what we're going to do in a second, they at least have some familiarity. They've maybe seen your face, or they've seen your comments on a bunch of their posts, right? So when you reach out, you're not just out of the blue. You're actually adding value to, their audience through commenting on their posts, engaging with their posts. Like, they know who you are. All right. So once they've got some familiarity to you, what you want to do, you can either message them, but make it very personalized. Don't use a generic, hey, saw your thing. I get like 7 or 8 LinkedIn messages a day from, it's just like copy and paste stuff. People trying to sell me stuff, right? It's not personalized. The stuff that stands out to me is when they compliment me. Whether or not that's important or not, everybody likes to be complimented. They've looked for something specific that tells me, hey, they did a little bit of homework on me, and they reach out and they have a compliment, and then they make it very personalized. I've seen a ton of people have huge success sending these Loom videos. If you haven't used Loom, it's a video sharing software. You basically hit a record button. It records your face talking, and then you click done, and it sends a link. So there's no need to like download the video. They just click on the link. But when you send a Loom video in an email, the cool thing is the video actually pops up in the email, and there you can actually like see the video going in the email. So if you do something like wave at them or hold up a sign that says like their name, they're going to look at that email. I've had other people do this to me, and it works out fantastically. So this is a great way to get somebody's attention, is sending them a Loom video. So if they're already familiar with you because you've been liking their posts, you've been commenting on their post, now you're reaching out to them. And what I would do is I would set up some kind of platform. For us, we have the Recession Resistant Real Estate Radio. We have a show, and we have roughly 5,500 people who subscribe to this email chain. We probably get anywhere between 1,500 and 3,500 opens, just depending on how good the headline and the content is. But we've got a platform to leverage, right? We're on social media. People are seeing us, and when you reach out to them, they're going to do a little bit of research on you. And if they see that you've got some kind of online presence and you have a platform, then they're going to start to listen to you. They're going to pay more attention to you. There was a really good story I read. And by the way, there's a whole book on this called Traffic Secrets by Russell Brunson, if you want to, deep dive into these strategies. And I think Dana Derricks even took it a step further and created a business just on the Dream 100 itself. So you can check those 2 books out if you'd like. But there was a story in one of them, and he talks about how this online talk show host, I can't remember their name, but used to have a huge presence in these talk shows. He was on The Apprentice, Donald Trump show. And in this particular task, the celebrities were split into teams, and they were required to go raise money. And this one celebrity just could not raise any money. I mean, he had all the connections, he had the fame, but he couldn't get people to answer his calls. And when asked why he wasn't able to raise any money, he said he no longer had his platform. He said, used to, when he had his show where he'd have guests come on, famous people like Bill Clinton, celebrities, when he called them, they always answered his phone calls because they knew he had a platform. They knew that he could provide some value to them in the form of eyeballs. When that platform went away, nobody answered his calls anymore. So I highly recommend you start some kind of platform that you can leverage, and you're going to ask them to come on to your show. You're not going to ask them to come on their stage or come on their show. You're going to ask them to come on to your show, and you're going to interview them, and you're going to build a genuine relationship with them. It gives you an opportunity to connect with people. It's so funny that you could reach out to someone and just ask for a few minutes of their time to ask them a few questions, and they're probably going to say no. They're going to feel like you're wasting their time. But if you send them an invite, say, hey, I've got this podcast. I really want to interview you. I love what you're doing in this space. I love the content that you're providing. I would love to have a conversation with you where we can have some fun and really do a deep dive on you and what you got going on for about 30, 40 minutes. Would you like to come on our podcast? You will be surprised at the number of requests that you get that they say yes. And this gives you a chance to build an authentic relationship with them, actually get to know them. And, there's a chance afterwards, if it works out, that they will more than likely invite you onto their show, or you can, use some sales tactics to kind of control the conversation and maybe ask for an opportunity at that point. This is so much more successful than just going out and sending blank messages to a bunch of people, spraying and praying. It's the sniper approach. Get very granular about who you're going after. Make sure they have your audience. Have established familiarity with them before you reach out. Reach out to them and ask to do them a favor. Figure out how to provide value to them by hopefully, leveraging a platform that you have. And then you can finally ask for something at the end. The goal is to provide get as much familiarity with them as possible and provide as much value to them before asking. This is the Dream 100 strategy. Works in any economy, works in any time zone. Hope this helps. Till next time.